You are listening to Fox Radio 910 and 104.3. I want to welcome you to Let's Talk About, our weekly radio program sponsored by Crowning Touch Senior Moving Services of Roanoke, Virginia. My name is Linda Balentine, the president of Crowning Touch and your host for this series. I interview local characters, service providers, politicians, teachers, entrepreneurs, and business professionals, and each one is dedicated to improving life in our valley. Every person has an interesting perspective to share from all walks of life. So, let's begin today's interview. Today on Let's Talk About, we're taking a walk on the wild side, right here in Roanoke. I'm thrilled to be joined by Niki Voudren, the executive director of Mill Mountain Zoo, a tremendous and treasured gem nestled atop Mill Mountain and overlooking the Star City. For nearly a century, Mill Mountain Zoo has been a home to wildlife from around the world and has played a vital role in conservation, education, and community engagement. Under Niki's leadership, the zoo is evolving with a renewed focus on animal care, sustainability, and inspiring the next generation of wildlife stewards. So whether you're a lifelong local or a first-time visitor, there's always something new happening at the zoo. And today we're going behind the scenes. Niki, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Linda.
I love it up here. I've been coming here for years. I've lived in Roanoke 30 years, and I've been here several times a year, every year for 30 years.
Good. There's always something new to see up here, right?
With every new grandchild, for sure. It's a wonderful spot. Help fill me in a little bit on your background on how you came to be sitting in the seat that you're in, because it's such a valuable and important position.
Oh, well, thank you. It's definitely overwhelming. It's the biggest challenge of my life. Born and raised in Roanoke, I have fond memories of coming to the zoo when it was a petting zoo.
Wow.
I was a small child coming to the zoo. I grew up here in Roanoke and at the zoo. So it's a very special place to me, even in my adult life. I've been in the nonprofit sector for nearly 25 years. When I was asked to serve on the board of Mill Mountain Zoo, I did so for 3 years and saw that there was a void in fundraising. And as a nonprofit organization, fundraising is key.
It's all about fundraising.
It's all about
fundraising. What a challenge.
Yes. I was raising money for the zoo while serving on the board and started to have this emotional affair with the zoo. And I was tapped to take this position, and I did. And for 4 years, I've been feeling like I'm skydiving every day.
Well, the nice thing is we're sitting up here in Bally's, what's the name of the spot named after the leopard?
Yeah, Bally's Bistro.
Bally's Bistro.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't quite opened, so we snuck in here and we've got a little spot. But I noticed that you don't have to, you don't have to dress for the law office here. I mean,
right.
You got your boots, your jeans. This is that kind of job.
Yeah.
You can be relaxed because you're in and out of all of these
departments. Yeah.
Animal environments.
Mm-hmm. And it's a mountain. So I'm hiking all day long in my office.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah. And, you don't know if you're going to be in the commissary or, painting spindles or cleaning restrooms or doing interviews.
So you just get to do, you do everything.
Well, when I try to plan my day and my week, it never goes as planned. Right. So I try to leave a lot of white space and it always gets full.
Well, what do you think? Can you outline for me what you think the primary mission of Mill Mountain Zoo is? I mean, is it to entertain? Is it conservation? Is it all of those things?
Well, in 3 words, it's conservation, education, destination.
Okay.
So on the conservation side, we specialize in wildlife conservation. We are part of national and global conservation programs like the Species Survival Program, when we house, critically endangered animals, and we help protect them and propagate. So we are part of breeding programs. An accredited zoo. Mm-hmm. We are selected to house certain exotic animals that are being protected from deforestation and the exotic pet trade. So that's the conservation piece. But another big piece, that exotic pet trade piece, is a lot of our animals are victims of the exotic pet trade. So some people will think, oh, it'd be so fun to have a python. Mm-hmm. And it's not. It's dangerous, right. And they're expensive, right. And they're invasive. And so a lot of the animals we have here are victims of the exotic pet trade, and then they come to us by owner relinquishment.
So is your phone open for calls 24/7? I mean,
No. We're open 7 days a week, and we are taking care of the animals 7 days a week, Christmas, holidays, all of that. And sometimes you don't know if you're going to stay until 9 or show up here in the middle of the night or come early in the morning.
How many people are up here helping you manage the zoo?
There's about 18 full-time, 25 total in season. That's with part-time seasonals. I have a couple of lieutenants. I've got a general curator who is my right hand. And we have a guest experience manager and a maintenance manager. And then, they each have their teams. So it's definitely, it's a group effort, a team effort every day.
So this is sort of the height of your season, though, isn't it, too, when schools are out or not?
Yes. Our high season is after Memorial Day, and then it ends around Labor Day. But actually, we're busy year round. People will come up, when it's snowing,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is in the middle of our high season. But to answer your question about our mission, all of the animals in our care are either critically endangered, vulnerable, threatened, or non-releasable due to being victims of the exotic pet trade, injuries, or owner relinquishment. Maybe they're born in captivity. A lot of our animals are rescues. Both of our eagles came to us through Department of Wildlife Resources.
Wow.
Both sustained wing injuries that prevent them from taking full flight.
Oh.
And if an eagle can't take full flight and dive for their prey,
right.
Then they die.
Mm-hmm.
They can't live in the wild. So our foxes, we have two beautiful red foxes that were treated as pets, and so they're non-releasable.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Our black bear was in Joe Exotic's zoo, the Tiger King.
Uh-huh.
She was born for cub petting, which we cannot stand. That's horrible. And so when he was indicted, all the animals were confiscated. She went to a zoo in Kansas and then ultimately ended up here at Mill Mountain Zoo. So you see probably a third of our animals are owner relinquished. And then the rest are either part of a conservation program or just non-releasable due to injuries.
So if people have objections with the notion of keeping animals penned up in fences and it sort of depresses them, the fact is they need to look at the other side of the coin, which is you're really offering a wonderful space and extension of life opportunity.
Extension of life is for sure. We do extend the lives of these animals. We have the best care. A lot of people don't know if they frown on zoos do have a negative connotation due to the exotic pet trade. Zoos that are open to the public are governed by the USDA. We're governed by the government. The federal government decides.
They come up here and inspect?
They come up here. They're here at least once a year. They can do surprise inspections. We get a license every 3 years. It is a very invasive inspection of all of our policies, the inventory of our animals, the care of our animals. They could, give citations away to zoos if the care is not up to code. Our USDA inspector is by far the toughest in the nation, I think, by far.
And it's all under your purview. In other words, he writes it up, hands you a piece of paper and says, handle this.
No, well, she will come out. She's a former veterinarian.
Okay.
And she knows what to look for with animal welfare. And she deems our animal welfare superior.
Isn't that wonderful?
Every time.
That's got to make you feel really good. We ought to really be proud of that as a community.
You really should. You really should. It's a big deal. It's very difficult. Before we really launched into fundraising, all of the income from earned revenue from the gate admissions was spent on the animal care and food. It's very expensive.
Right.
So the facility got a little rundown. So we've done a lot of work in the past 4 years in fundraising, and we have brought the facility up to a higher level. We've done a lot of construction, and we shine in the eyes of the USDA.
What is one of your biggest fundraisers? What do you have coming up? I know you have some events, but do any of these events contribute to the largesse that you need?
Yeah, we have events pretty much year round. We have camps all summer. The next event is Dr. Zoolittle Day on May 21st. After that, we have Zoobilee on July 2nd, and that's the celebration of the zoo's birthday, which the zoo was opened in 1952.
Wow, yeah.
And then on September 20th, we have International Red Panda Day. And then on October 25th and 26th, we have Zooboo. That's our largest event of the year. We expect hundreds and hundreds of people. They
all get dressed up, all the kids
and
everything.
They do.
Sounds cute.
And we give away candy, and we have special programs.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Bring the kids.
And speaking of programs, the other arm of our mission is education. So we have a robust education program. We have education events. We have educational camp. We have educational programs. We go out to schools. Schools come out for field trips. We go out to retirement communities, home schools, community organizations.
Isn't that neat? I didn't know that. What I did notice was even on your board out here every day, you've got, like seminars, teaching experiences, people are out there giving a little course, a little, directive, something.
Keeper chats.
Yeah, keeper chats.
We also teach through our educational signage at every exhibit. Our education program serves over 20,000 children across 24 school districts.
Wow.
With educational programming in bioscience that aligns with Virginia's SOL academic standards.
Wow.
And our innovative educational programs promote science literacy and enhance student interest and retention.
So how many visitors does the zoo attract annually, do you think? I know you have all that exposure. How many people actually, walk through the gate?
We have, on average, about 55,000 visitors a year. This season has started out really strong. So I'm hoping for a nice round number of 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with the help of the community visiting the zoo and coming to our events, and with us opening new exhibits, we're hoping to just, bring in more and more people every year, because then that's more revenue that helps us fulfill our mission. And it does cost over $3,500 a day to operate.
Wow.
So, and like I told you, we report to the federal and local government. So our standards are very high.
You need to raise money.
Yes.
What happened during COVID? How did that impact you? It has to be a sort of a human interest aspect of that, because you couldn't even have people up here. Is that correct or not?
Actually, when we were able to open the gates, it was a very popular place because people could be outside, outdoors, and the separation, the 6 feet separation was very doable here. So we did actually really well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So did they shut you down at all?
Briefly, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What are some of the zoo's long-term goals? I mean, if you're in that visionary catbird seat,
mm-hmm.
and what is there a particular need, particular growth? What kind of space do you have on this mountain? Do you need to grow, out into the mountain some, or just go ahead and maintain and make better what is already in here?
Well, when I came on board, I walked into about 30 to 40 years of deferred maintenance.
Wow.
And so my goals have been safety and security and accessibility. So there's a lot of places at the zoo that were not ADA compliant, which is a hot button for me. So that's why we built Bear and Wolf, the two new exhibits down at the most southern part of the zoo. Those are two 5,000 square foot exhibits for dangerous animals. And we built those in 2022. And we did that project to be ADA compliant. And then we just finished another project for safety and accessibility. We demoed the antiquated, archaic amphitheater that was, rotten wood and buckling tracks. It was all steps. There was no wheelchair accessibility at all. And it was a sore spot for me. And so I'd been raising money for that for 3 years.
I would think this would be an important place for people who are handicapped.
All people. All people.
To be able, especially to be able to come.
Yes. So we just finished that project, about $250,000. And it's now called the Skyline Stage.
Wow.
And it's completely ADA compliant. It's beautiful. And that's what we use for education programs, events, camps, and field trips, and events. Yeah.
Are there opportunities up here for people who want to volunteer, or is there a way?
Absolutely. Yes. We the program, the volunteer program, is not fully fleshed out. We love corporate groups. And really appreciate them. There's always work to do. As you were saying, the property is on top of a mountain. It's very challenging, and it's ever growing. The weeds are ubiquitous. It's never ending. So we always appreciate volunteers. But it is hard to build here. We do have another construction project starting in the next, probably in end of June, early July. My goal is to stay in construction year round.
Right.
I want to do construction every year. So, your question about the vision, we are.
How much acreage is up here?
We have 13 acres.
Okay. See, that doesn't sound like much.
No, it's not much. And there's not much land here we can develop with the terrain and, with it. ways for us to get around the mountain safely.
Right.
So there's not a lot of
Right,
acreage, but we've got some old exhibits that we could tear down and rebuild. And we do lease the land from Roanoke City. This whole mountaintop, Mill Mountain, is part of the Mill Mountain Land Trust.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
600 acres is in a protected land trust, and we are mentioned. The Mill Mountain Zoo is mentioned in the land trust, and so that's a huge responsibility to take care of this precious land.
Right.
And we're only one of 2 zoos in the country located on the top of a mountain.
Isn't that? Where's the other one?
It's Colorado or Washington State.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Are there any membership opportunities for people here? In other words, can you be a member of the zoo? Sponsorship opportunities?
Yes, thank you for asking. We have a lot of anybody can be a member, and the membership pays for itself in no time, and it gets discounts in the gift shop and access to early access to events, sponsorships. That's another way in which we earn some revenue to help fulfill our mission. Carilion Children's Curiosity Corner. Carilion is a wonderful sponsor for us. And MKB, the MKB Birdhouse sponsors the aviary. So we really appreciate our sponsors.
How do the breeding programs work? In other words, how do zoos talk to each other? I mean, is it social media, websites, other ways to talk if you have a need, or let's say you get blessed with some animal that then needs a mate?
I have never been a part of an industry that is so welcoming and helpful and supportive and nurturing, and just it's like a family. I'm new to the industry. I feel like most of the people in the zoo world were born into it, or they've been in it their whole lives.
Right.
And so my peers, if you call it that, they have really embraced me and the zoo. And so I've developed a network of counterparts through the ZAA conference. We do an annual conference every year. And I've met a lot of people through there.
What's ZAA? Zoo what?
Zoological Association of America
Okay.
is the accrediting body of nonprofit zoos. It's a voluntary option. It's a grueling process. The ZAA establishes excellence in all areas of zoo operations. And being accredited by the ZAA means that Mill Mountain Zoo upholds the highest national standards of animal welfare, care, and safety. And there are only 71 zoos in the country that are accredited by the ZAA. And we are, I won't say lucky to be accredited because it's very hard earned.
You earned it.
But it's an esteemed group. And that also offers us opportunities to exchange animals. If like you said, if we have an animal that needs a mate, or if we want to be a part of a certain breeding program, being accredited affords us that opportunity. And we also, there's some Facebook groups and just a network of email partners that we work through and borrow animals from, buy animals from, trade. And then the SSP is the Species Survival Program. Being accredited offers us the opportunity to bring in critically endangered animals like the red wolves and the red panda.
Niki, what are some of the biggest challenges of running a smaller zoo? I mean, here you are on top of a mountain.
Yeah, we are a small zoo. We have 250 animals, including 62 different species, both on and off exhibit. Some of those are education ambassadors. Some are in our holding facility. They're older and they don't want to be on exhibit or be in the education program. And we take care of them to the end of their life.
Wow.
But one of the biggest challenges is that, we're nonprofit. And we rely on donations. We rely on grants and fundraisers. And just, fundraising in general is hard. But what a lot of people don't understand is, why don't we have these big sexy animals, rhinos, gorillas, elephants?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because it wouldn't be good for that species. This property, this acreage, this climate is not a proper facility for gorillas and rhinos and hippos and things like that. So, we're small and mighty. We do big conservation work, but we're a small zoo. Also, approximately 75% of all zoos in the U.S. are funded by the municipality that they're in. And our zoo only receives a very small percentage of funding from local municipalities.
I gotcha.
So fundraising is critical. And, materials costs are always going up. Food costs, yes. And you have to pay for, good quality staff. And being a nonprofit, nobody is getting rich in the nonprofit sector.
That's correct.
And we pay as generously as we can, but again, nonprofit is humble. And so we are fortunate enough to have a very dedicated staff. And you'd have to be, because this is a very difficult industry. Therethere's compassion fatigue. You get really connected to the snow leopard, and then he passes from natural causes. And, the whole team is down in the dumps for a month.
That was demoralizing. It was a beautiful animal. The animal died of cancer, you said. So.
Yeah, untreatable aggressive cancer. And we did the right thing by him. We care about our animals. We have a veterinarian who advises us. We have several veterinary advisors. One in particular, Dr. Stewart, he's been with us for decades, and he knows our animals like the back of his hand.
Wow.
And so, but compassion fatigue is a big part of why it's difficult to be in this industry.
Speaking of Bali was a snow leopard,
mm-hmm.
Beautiful animal. What other, and it's going to be a while before you can have another show-stopping animal probably like that, correct?
Well, we're running a business up here too. We're nonprofit, but we have to think like a business. We operate like a business. So we are already making plans for, we're discussing opportunities for the snow leopards exhibit. But, we're still mourning Bali.
Sure.
The community is still mourning Bali. And I think it would be insensitive to just fill that exhibit, within a week.
Right. I gotcha.
We want to make sure that we make the right decisions. We need to make plans. We need to, coordinate with ZAA and SSP and just do what's right for the animal on our property.
Right. I got you. On a happier note, isn't there a new sloth?
There is a new sloth.
Tell me about sloth.
He is the cutest thing in the world.
Is that a two-toed sloth?
Two-toed sloth, yeah. He is the cutest thing in the world. He's 1 year old. He just turned one about a month ago.
Where did he come from? Or what part of the world are sloths even happy running around in? Or
like South America and Costa Rica.
Are there 4-toed sloths, 3-toed sloths? I mean, do we know?
There's 3. Yeah, 3 and 2. Ours is 2, and he's the cutest little thing. And he's growing rapidly, so people should come see him.
Yeah, that's right.
We also have another little baby, a North American porcupine little baby.
Do they throw their quills?
No, that's a rumor. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But we have a breeding pair, and they just had a baby a few weeks ago. So he is the cutest thing ever.
So who else? What are some of you? If we were to walk out here right now, where would you take me? Take me on a little tour of some of.
Well, now I have to show you the North American porcupine.
That's right, you do.
And the sloth, and our new Skyline stage.
What does a porcupine eat?
Fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I was asking you, who can people make any contributions? Do farmers ever bring food? If anybody's listening and they have extra, organic produce or something, I mean, in other words, does Kroger ever make donations here like they do to the Southwest Food Bank? Or do you just have to go out with cash and buy food for all of these animals up here?
Well, we do. We spend a lot on food. We have a lot of, hefty meat order.
I bet.
We, like I said, it takes over $3,500 a day to operate. But yeah, we will consider food donations, but since we are governed by the USDA, everything is very temperature specific.
Oh, yeah.
So like if someone wanted to bring us leftover meat, we could not accept that.
Okay.
But if there's a hunter out there and he is culling deer, and we would love deer meat, if possible.
Okay. What is something else that you would like, you wish that more people knew about Mill Mountain Zoo?
What I want everyone to know about Mill Mountain Zoo is probably the thing I'm most proud of, and that is that, and the community should be most proud of, is that we are accredited through the Zoological Association of America. And it's an esteemed, earned honor. It's very difficult.
And that's only 71, right?
71
out
zoos.
Of 1,000 zoos?
After, I'm sure there's over 1,000.
Got to be over 1,000 zoos.
But it's an honor and a privilege. And that is what I want the community to know and be proud of. And if anybody out there thinks that zoos are bad, we're governed by the USDA and we're accredited. We have exceptional welfare. So when you come to the zoo, you're supporting our welfare. You're actually literally feeding our animals when you come visit the zoo.
And then everybody up here, you have a staff, and everybody is trained, correct? It was interesting. I was in there. I was looking at what is it? It's one of those hogs. It's like with the
guinea hog.
Yeah, guinea hog.
Uh-huh.
And there was a worker in there,
a zookeeper.
Yeah, and he was doing some maintenance repair, and he was talking to the hogs.
Yeah,
and it was the greatest thing because it was just showed that there's a real deep connection. If the maintenance guy is out there talking and befriending the hogs and having that in a relationship, that was very heartening.
It's incredibly heartening. Our zookeepers have deep connections to the animals, make relationships with the animals. They care for them like their own pets.
Yeah.
And so a zookeeper's job is not easy. They work very hard, and we are grateful for all of them.
Finally, Niki, one last question. What are additional revenue streams that you utilize to bring money onto the mountain?
Okay. So, nearly half of the money it takes to operate the zoo comes from admissions, concessions, gift shop sales, zoo chew, goat feed, events, and the other half comes from fundraising. But, we just built this beautiful ADA compliant skyline stage. And with that, we hope to increase our revenue stream by having people rent it out for weddings, receptions, team building.
So that's wonderful. How big is the stage? How big is that area?
It's a 23 by 30.
And then is there room for seating?
Oh, yes.
Around that?
Yes, there are about 50 people or more.
Well, that would be a fun place to have an event, wouldn't it?
And the views are beautiful.
Oh, wow. So bring your friends to the zoo.
Check it out.
That sounds really great. All right, Niki, a big thank you to you for joining us and sharing all the exciting things happening at the Mill Mountain Zoo. And whether it's new exhibits, special events, or behind-the-scenes conservation work, the zoo continues to be a really vibrant part of Roanoke's cultural and educational landscape. To plan your visit for our listeners or to learn more, head to their website, mmzoo.org. And you can follow the zoo on social media. So I'm Linda Balentine. This has been Let's Talk About, where we spotlight the people making a difference in our community. Niki is certainly one of those people. Thank you again so much, Niki.
Thank you, Linda.
All righty. Bye-bye. You've been listening to Let's Talk About, courtesy of Crowning Touch Senior Moving Services of Roanoke, Virginia, the only moving company with a consignment shop, auction house, and real estate division. We are a one-stop shop for any senior making a move. Check out our website at crowningtouchusa.com. Or if you are planning a move, call Anna at 540-982-5800 to arrange a free estimate. And don't forget to check out our monthly browse and bid auctions at 6712 Williamson Road in Roanoke, where you can bid online on over 1,800 items each month. Meanwhile, let's get back together next Friday at noon for more of Let's Talk About on Fox 910 and 104.3.